Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and this is a weekly show where brands watch other brands' ads and discuss what's good and bad about them. This ad was part chosen by Contagious this week and also fans of the show. But before we get to the ad, let's meet this week's guests.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Francis. I am a strategy director at the media agency, the7stars.
Hi, and I'm Ruth Maliwat. I formerly was the Insights lead at DOVE Masterbrand and future Insights director for new and emerging categories at Coke.
And hi, everyone. My name's Adam Nickson. I'm head of marketing communications for Groupe Renault in the UK.
What a panel. Fantastic. Right, let's see this week's ads. So, Ruth, what was your response the first time you saw it?
I love it. And it hooked me in the first few seconds. And I like it towards the end when they have the big reveal that the lady was actually standing on top of Burj Khalifa. So I love it as an audience. As a marketeer, I also love it because, knowing Emirates and how they're very popular with over-the-top everything. And Dubai as a city is known for its indulgence, extravagance. And this is no different to what they've done in this particular campaign. So love it.
And how about you, Sabrina? Were you equally carried away with this ad?
Unfortunately not. I'm going to get the controversial opinion in there straight away. This great stunt that they'd done, putting someone on top of the Burj Khalifa was completely lost for me. And I think it was because I just assumed it wasn't real, but I felt that there were things in there, like it wasn't that obvious that she was standing on the Burj Khalifa until the very end. And therefore that significance of it being the tallest building in the world was completely missed.
Oh, so we have both sides of the coin. Adam, where do you sit?
When I first started watching it, I couldn't quite make out what all the fuss was about. It felt like a Bob Dylan video. I don't know if you know the Bob Dylan videos where he's holding the signs and he's throwing them out to everyone. Loads of fake news videos on social of people doing the similar sort of thing. And I kind of thought, what's all the fuss about? And it's only really when that kind of bubble bursts and you get the gag, that it all kind of makes sense. And I think once I'd got to that point, I was hooked and I loved it, to be honest with you. So a bit skeptical to begin with. Felt like a sort of thing I'd seen 1,000 times. They were not, obviously, when you see the ad in full, you realize it's not an ad you've seen 1,000 times. So I think on balance, loved it.
But does it do the job? It's a striking bit of content, 5 million views. I think the making of video has about half as many. Does it land the brand? Does it land any USPs? Or is this halfway between an ad and kind of one of those crazy stunt TikTok videos where someone's kind of hanging off the edge of a cliff with a skateboard?
To your point, I thought about that actually, Tom. Where's the branding in all of this? First 5 second, branding 0 second. But actually, the flight, at the stewardess, right, the flight attendant, her uniform in itself is branding for Emirates, right? That, I don't know what you call it, the headpiece that they wear on is an ownable asset from Emirates. That in itself is branding without really it being in your face branding. So arguably, they could be better, but they've done it just enough to identify it as an Emirates, I guess.
For me, I think clearly it's not a brand awareness ad. I think the message of it is clearly about getting people excited that they're able to travel to places like Dubai again, and trying to, obviously with the stunt being quite record breaking, it's about dramatizing that point, right? But for me, because it doesn't look as real as it could be, I kind of feel like that dramatization point has been lost. So if it was for drama, I just feel like, in fact, the behind the scenes footage does a better job at portraying the extent to which they've gone to place someone on top of the world. For me, the ad doesn't do that. The behind the scenes footage does. So that's my main problem with it, is because the footage, I think, feels more dramatic.
on top of the world, is that a kind of sub slogan of theirs when they got fly better? Is that just the joke that, hey, I'm on top of the world? We feel on top of the world. I'm a little bit confused what are they trying to land?
I think from my point of view, if you think about it from a client's point of view, I think they've been quite brave, if I'm honest with you. I reckon they probably sat around and said, look, the industry's been on its backside for however many months now, nobody's flying. How can we get bums on seats? And it would have been so easy to do an ad about half price flights to Dubai, right? Buy one, get one free, get a free upgrade, whatever it was. And they've actually thought, you know what, let's just try and build a bit of equity back into the brand and a bit of value and do something different. So, I think that the pressure from a client side would have been get bums on seats, do something drastic, do something quick. And actually, I think they've sort of zigged when probably everyone else zagged, I think, on that one. So
Sabrina, you're still the naysayer of this ad. Yeah. What would have made it better for you if you'd seen this treatment or this storyboard? What have you been saying to the creative team?
It doesn't have enough intrigue for me. So as I said, that behind the scenes footage, it's a really incredible setup. And I think, normally I am totally an advocate of doing teaser videos and creating intrigue, but I think you needed to see the whole, right, guys, we are so happy. We are so on top of the world that we are back, that we're going to stick someone on top of the world. I needed that more explicit intent. If you have to explain it, it hasn't done its job in that 30-second ad. And that for me is the frustration. It needed the extra drama and explaining and connecting those dots to be like, okay, that's cool.
There's so much juice in that big idea that they could actually build more legs around it and make it a bit more campaignable, right? So one obviously is the BTS behind the scenes take on it, but they could have created, I don't know, a bigger activation around it as to, fly to Emirates, fly to Dubai, and these are the things that's awaiting you along the lines of over-the-top delivery of the brand promise, being on top of the world. There's just so much legs to the big idea that it's quite a shame that it's just a 30-second film plus behind the scenes.
I used to work at an agency, and there's agencies everywhere coming up with this is the definition of a big idea, really. But there is a real lack of clients who are big enough to take them on. I think clients always say, give me a big idea. I didn't mean that big. Can we just do a Facebook video? Do you know what I mean? You've all been there. So how the hell did this get signed off?
I think that's a tricky one, certainly from a client point of view, because you do get, you get agencies that we work with and agencies that we don't work with, proactively coming up with ideas as well and saying, hey, why don't you do this? That it's going to be some challenging conversations with CMOs, marketing directors, whoever it may be. It's a leap of faith, isn't it? It really is a leap of faith. But if someone had presented that to me, I'd like to think I'd have bought it as well, because you think about what the alternative is, which could be quite dull and quite dry. Ultimately, I guess it gets you to the same business goal in terms of driving some awareness, driving some traffic, hopefully driving some holidays or some bums on seats. But yeah, it's a leap of faith for sure.
What can the industry be learning from this, Ruth?
It pays off to be bold and to disrupt the category. And I think we underestimate audiences insofar as we just give them what we think they want, but they're actually ready and eager to see something bigger than what is out there.
I think the only thing that I would like to have seen perhaps a little bit more of in that ad, or two things probably, which I think we could probably learn for next time. I think the behind the scenes could have been a bit richer. It didn't look that difficult when they did it. Clearly, it's a big feat, but they could have made it perhaps look a little bit more difficult. The writing on the boards was clearly done in post-production. And I guess that's so they can do it in different languages afterwards. But that, for me, just that final 1% of authenticity would have made it magic,
I do love the bravery of the idea, as I said, and I think that's why I've been frustrated by the execution. And I think most people won't be seeking out extra accompanying content or behind the scenes footage. The ad has to live and breathe on its own. You only have a few seconds to really get your message across.
So we're right at the end of the show. I'm going to get you all to give this ad marks out of 5. So on the count of 3, can you hold up your fingers to demonstrate how many points you'd give it? 1, 2, 3. A 4, a 4, and a 3 for Emirates. Well, Sabrina, Adam, Ruth, thank you so much. I will see you all next week.